It's the old Doctor Who show, episode number 5, Spearhead from Space.
Go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. You couldn't control my mind before, and you certainly can't control it now.
Would you like a jelly, baby?
The TARDIS, when working properly, is capable of many amazing things.
Reverse the polarity of the neutron flows, and the TARDIS will be free of the force field.
But the TARDIS is more than a machine. It's unity, but a person, you see.
Resulting reaction is fighting. Are you ready?
All right, we are here with the old Doctor Who show. This is now episode number 5. It's hard to believe that we've made it this far. I feel like quitting, so this is the last episode of the old Doctor Who show.
Nope, we are on a roll. Thank you, everyone, for listening. All one of you.
I don't feel like quitting. I don't feel like quitting, Dan. So, how was your 3 weeks?
Oh, that's your host, Eric. And
right, I'm sorry. I am
this is your host, Dan.
Eric, and that's Dan, and we figured it out.
Yep.
I got nothing to say. Usually we like to talk about something.
Yeah, on all the previous 4 episodes.
Right. The only thing I got going on is I got myself a sparkling water, and I'm ready to talk about some spearheads.
Hey, guys, just so you can tell us apart, I'm drinking still water. That's how you can know who is who.
Runs deep.
Yep.
All right, so I have no fights on planes, no weed in Colorado.
Not yet. Nope.
Should we let's just jump into Spearhead from Space? Let's do it. You don't know what's going to happen. That's what's so exciting about this show. Because I know people are waiting, that aren't already fast-forwarding over this part. All right, let's do it. Here comes the clip.
Do you realize that in our section of the galaxy there are over 500 planets capable of supporting life?
Why is Earth any more likely to be attacked now than during the last 50,000 years?
In the last decade, we've been sending probes deeper and deeper into space. We've drawn attention to ourselves, Miss Shaw.
Aren't you being a bit alarmist?
Since UNIT was formed, there have been 2 attempts to invade this planet.
Really?
We were lucky enough to be able to stop them. There was a policy decision not to inform the public.
Do you seriously expect me to believe that?
It's not my habit to tell lies, Miss Shaw.
I'm sorry, but it is a fantastic story.
We were very lucky on both occasions. We had help from a scientist, a great experience of other life forms.
Really? Who was this genius?
But it's all rather difficult to explain. We used to call him the Doctor.
All right, so this is Spearhead from Space. In 1970, this is the first story of Season 7, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Written by Robert Holmes, directed by Derek Martinez. It's the first color show, by the way.
Yes, it is.
And also shot entirely in film, which I thought was interesting.
Did you see why that was? Yeah.
Yeah, there was a strike, a union strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's 2 different unions for the film people and the video people. And the video people were on strike, whereas the film people weren't.
Which means this one has a higher quality and is available on Blu-ray.
Yeah, you can get it on Blu-ray. But then I had heard or read, because I haven't seen the Blu-ray of this, but I guess whatever they shot it with film, it was like, it was 16 millimeter or something So like the transfer is not it's not going to be like, whoa, like you see with like Star Trek or whatever.
Right.
Because on Netflix, did you watch it on Netflix?
I watched it on Hulu Plus.
Is it in HD?
Everything.
Does it tell you like
not? No. I mean, it's in 4:3. I don't know what the bit rate was. It doesn't tell you.
Yeah, because I bought it a while ago on iTunes and it didn't say HD. So I have not seen the Blu-ray. Maybe the Blu-ray looks amazing, but I did read some review and the person was like, don't get your hopes up.
Well, I mean, it
still looks good.
It looks. I was just going to say, It's a really nice looking episode. I mean, not just because it's the first color episode, which means it solves a lot of the problems of the black and white, where shadows are really difficult and they have to light it really strangely to try to get everything to kind of look natural, and it never quite does. This one actually looks pretty good the whole way through.
So just a quick queef.
Just a quick queef.
This is the After Dark episode. After regenerating at the end of the War Games, the Doctor and the TARDIS, they crash on Earth, where he's found by UNIT, and meanwhile UNIT is investigating a series of strange meteorites, Dan. that have fallen nearby. So, the Doctor, having been stuck here, unable to leave, agrees to help UNIT investigate this strange phenomena and the plastic doll factory that seems to be connected to it. That's basically the story.
Yep.
We've got, as we said, it's the third Doctor story, so this first John Pertwee we're going to get.
Yep.
Liz Shaw is also new. This is her first. She becomes the Doctor's companion at the end of this one.
Yeah.
We got the Brigadier.
Playing Liz the scientist. Yep.
Yeah, we got the Brigadier.
Who has been in previous episodes. So this is not the first appearance of UNIT, and also not his first appearance.
Yeah, I think he's been in a couple before.
Yeah.
One with the Cybermen, and I forget what the other one was. So so he had known the previous incarnation of the Doctor,
the Pertwee Doctor. Yep.
Yes.
I mean the Troughton Doctor. Yep.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of other weirdos, a lot of weirdos in this episode. So, what did you think overall?
Well, overall, I thought it was a really good episode. It's an episode in 4 parts, and all of them were pretty much equally strong. The first one was much more interesting because we're seeing the Third Doctor for the first time. Everyone's seeing the First Doctor for the first time. Third Doctor for the first time. And but we see him, we only see his face at the very beginning when he's falling out of the TARDIS. Like, the TARDIS lands after these meteors are falling. It lands in the middle of a forest. The police box door opens. The Doctor falls out unconscious on the ground. You don't really see his face. And it seems like for the first half of the first episode, people were standing in front of his face. Like, they were trying to wait for the reveal of what it looked like, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, and you had said that you saw the War Games, right? So
No. I actually saw this one. I saw this one a long time ago before we decided.
You did not look up the War Games after watching this, because I'm just curious if you see his face in that transformation.
No, I read through kind of synopsis of the War Games. It is a really long 10-part episode. It is definitely one I think I want to go back and watch, just because it explains what he's doing on Earth. So, I mean, they don't really talk about it much here, but.
Right. So he got into some kind of trouble with the Time Lords.
He got in trouble with the Time Lords and the Celestial Intelligence Agency, the CIA, which is pretty crazy. He got in trouble with them for breaking their code of non-interference. Doesn't sound like Star Trek took this from them at all, or vice versa. And he's sentenced to 2 things: one, exile on Earth in the late 20th century, and also forced to regenerate. So that's why he's there. And he's not able to leave. They actually, I don't know if they break the TARDIS or disable it, but they also take away bits of his memory. He can't remember the dematerialization codes. He can't remember how to fix the TARDIS
so
exactly.
Is that from the Time Lords? I assume that was just from regenerating. Which
is what I thought as well, because the Doctor's always a little bit out of it for a while at the beginning. No, it actually seems like, from what I was reading, and I don't know this is but this is based on not just the TV episodes, but some stories and radio shows. So
like the Big Finish stuff or whatever.
Yeah. So it seems like he actually can't remember a lot of the song. So there's a chunk in there where he's talking to the Brigadier, and he mentions something about an alien race, and surprised that he actually remembers that. So he has this spotty memory of time travel. But anyway, so
it is like. It's got such a cool look, and I think just overall, before we get into the details, like, it balances sort of like this gravitas spy sort of cool thing with humor. Like, it's one of the creepiest episodes, like the Autons, which are these plastic dummies that are brought to life by this Nestine intelligence, are very, like, creepy and cool and weird, and just even the shots of, like, the babies, but it's also got some of the funniest moments, like, where at one point the Doctor hides by taking a shower and scrubbing.
Oh man, the best.
That is like one of the best moments, because the two guys are coming in, so he's got to figure out a way to hide. So he takes all of his why not take all of his clothes off and shower in whatever room that is, just like some room with this open shower where there's
open shower.
There's no curtains at all in this whole hospital, but they've got the shower like on display, and it's in like a weird cage, like you would like bathe a horse.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was definitely for livestock. He's definitely bathing in a livestock. I don't know.
Yeah, but the episode.
As long as he lathers up just enough, they're not going to notice who he is. Oh, you also get a shot of Pertwee's tattoo on his forearm.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, he has a tattoo made of a snake, but it's in the shape of a question mark. But it is actually his tattoo. It has nothing to do with the show. It's just, I think, a great weird coincidence. But
that's cool.
Look for a still of it. Maybe we'll put it.
We'll have to go back.
We'll throw some video into our audio show.
Yeah, and we also have in the very beginning. So we don't have to do a play-by-play. But
I mean, by the way,
he crash lands. But that old dude is also awesome. Who sells weird meat, like the guy that just kills rodents and then takes them out of his sack and tries to So he uncovers these meteorites. Yeah. That land. So the cast of characters in this.
What I love about that poacher is he has a really touching relationship with his wife. It's just really tender.
Yeah, it's definitely that old, Andy Capp type.
It's definitely Andy Capp. Yep. One of them or both of them are beating the shit out of each other.
Oh, there's violence. There's lots of This thing ends in murder that they cut, unfortunately. And then Liz Shaw's intro.
She's great.
Awesome because she's coming in a car and the music is playing and the camera's in the car and it looks like softcore porn from like HBO shows. Like it was like Lady Chatterley's. You remember the period in the 80s when it was like some foreign movie where a young woman is on her erotic journey.
You're gonna see a boob and a hairy armpit. It's
right.
Gonna be
and you're gonna wait 2 hours to watch it, and it's not going to be worth it.
It's gonna be weird. It should make you feel.
What
weird.
else do you have to do? You're 14, yeah.
Yep.
So I love that whole opening.
But yeah, her introduction. But then her whole. Leftwich Stewart, Brigadier Leftwich Stewart, head of unit, is bringing her in as to interview her to be like a science advisor, but she does not believe anything he's talking about.
No,
which is great.
She's great.
So her sense of sarcasm and humor is really good. I love the Brigadier. I think he's terrific. He's got this look and I guess upper class British accent. Every time I look at him and the way he was speaking, I thought it was Graham Chapman from Monty Python doing a kind of bit based on. He always did like these that type of character on Monty Python.
Right.
And he has the same sort of look, and it's just like, I can't take him seriously.
He's also kind
really
of like
good.
Peter Sellers in Doctor Strangelove as well.
Definitely,
like
definitely.
That whole, his delivery of lines and stuff. But, yeah, he's great, and Liz is, so far, is an amazing companion, like you're saying. Like, she is not taking any nonsense. She's very intelligent. She's much more on par with the Doctor as an equal than I think we've seen maybe ever, really, throughout this. For like the intro to a companion,
almost instantly.
Very impressive.
Whenever the Doctor, I guess it's maybe in the second episode or end of the first, the Brigadier, he arrives at unit. Brigadier brings him in and introduces him to Liz, and they are immediately best friends. Like they have good right next to each other, like just like almost giggling. It was right. Really like an instant chemistry.
Yeah, because he does that funny bit with his eye, like he's doing all this acting. There's a lot of eyeball acting too. Like he's doing the eyebrow communication, which is a funny bit. But then there's the other guy. I think it's Channing, right? His name is Channing, who is
runs the plastic factory.
He's either a part of the Nestine intelligence or he's being controlled by them. And he's running. He's really calling the shots, and he's controlling the Autons, and he's putting, and I should say these meteorites are pieces of a greater intelligence they're trying to assemble and build a body for. So that's sort of what he's got going on. But he does a lot of acting only with opening one or two eyes. Like he's almost entirely in his eye area for all his creepy, weird stares, and he was great.
Yeah, he was keeping very plastic face except for the big eyeballs at different sizes. So there's the whole thing going on with this plastics factory because it's the only place, I guess, in the universe that makes plastic. So that's what the Nestine consciousness needs. So, okay. We have this Nestine consciousness that's coming to Earth that wants to invade. It's trying to find suitable material because they're just a consciousness, so they need an outer body, so they're going to use plastic. And they have these Autons, which are made of plastic they can control, but they don't really have their own form. This is all very familiar to anyone who watches the current incarnation of Doctor Who. It is absolutely the same premise and setup of the first episode of 2005, Rose, Russell T. Davies. So the Doctor there is also fighting the Autons. The exact same shots happen where the Autons are mannequin dummies in the windows, and they all break through and start killing people and whatnot. it was really interesting to see. Like, I don't know. How do you feel about that? Was Davey is doing an homage and bringing us back in, but why this one to use as an homage? Is it really that well known an episode that it warranted it?
Well, I mean, this is the first color episode. Mm-hmm. So, and this one too really ushered in a new era of. I feel like it feels much different than everything that came before. Mm-hmm. Like it's a great way of introducing it, and I felt like Rose was also that same thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think you want to start with the Daleks or the Cybermen or whatever. And plus, they're super creepy.
Yeah,
they're everywhere. Like we have them. People have thought about mannequins as being sort of creatures you're afraid of. They're down the street. They're in the window. So it's sort of a nice melding of the commonplace things that we know and see in our world, mixing them with things that are from beyond.
Yeah, no,
so it's like
I'm not at all arguing with the idea, but it was just strange that this is the one of all of up to that point, whatever it was, 40 years of Doctor Who, that this was the one that he would riff off. But riff off in order to make this. Except in this case, all the mannequins are horrifying looking. You're supposed to be normal mannequins in the windows, and I guess that town is populated with burn victims. Because that's what they all look like.
And they all look terrible. Because it's the only one factory that not only does the factory make baby girl dolls. It also makes things for Madame Tussauds, like waxworks. So they have the technology to make it look like a human.
Right.
They can clearly do this, but they're like, no, we're gonna do these weird these Michael Myers burn victim looking. Yeah, it's just like some weird.
Wow.
And they all have like these like LL Bean like whatever
jumpers,
jumpers or outfits. And it's just very much like they should all form a new wave band. It's just very. I don't know. It's awesome though.
No, it is. It's great. But yeah, so they have the ability to make autons, but also autons that are complete duplicates of other people, and they choose. So they're going to do this thing for Madame Tussauds, and it's not wax. They're doing plastic. It's a brand new process that's exclusive for them. I was a little confused because at the end of one of the episodes, this general in the army who's kind of working with UNIT and sort of overseeing UNIT a bit, he's working with Leftwich, they make a duplicate of him. And that duplicate arrives on his doorstep. The only way you can tell the difference between them is one is really sweaty looking.
I was going to say the sweaty brow is the first giveaway.
Yeah, but it's like even more than regular 70s sweaty, where everyone in the 70s was just super moist all the time and greasy.
Yeah, it's a new patent technology.
Yeah, so there was that. But so who was in the Madame Tussauds exhibit?
That was the real
one,
general.
But how did they?
But everyone else there were autons, right? No. Wait, I'm sorry. Sorry.
They were.
They were, but when I was watching it, I thought, oh, they're all humans, and they've replaced the humans with autons.
Yes.
Like all these,
Yep.
Because they make a point of saying, like, they're only politicians or people of power or people in different offices.
Yep.
But while they're in there, the doctor's like, oh, no, these are all autons except for him because he has the watch.
Right.
It's sort of
but
a little...
Why was he there?
I think that the doctor's wrong. I think they are all humans in that place. Because that makes sense for their plot, right? When were they going to do the switch?
I guess. Yes, that would be the only thing that makes sense, but that's not what happened.
Don't they come alive at one point and start walking out?
Yeah, that's when they come in.
Do you never see the general again, right?
No, you do. You see him kind of standing there by himself after everyone else is left, waking up. but
that's it, right?
But why? So he was under mental control. I'm assuming it must have been the same mental control that. What was the?
Yeah, they have on Hibbert.
Yes, that he has over Hibbert. So you can exert this kind of telepathic control over them. They use that just to stun him and keep him. It doesn't. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. Like on its surface, I was like, okay, they're switching out people with robots, and we've seen that. And it makes sense.
Sure.
But there is like that.
Why put him there?
There's a lot of unclear things too. Like with they make the electric shock machine.
Yes.
Because the doctor makes a comment when he's working with Liz. Mm-hmm. with one of the meteorites or the thunderbolts.
Yes.
Or the
Thunderballs.
Yeah, whatever.
Thunderballs.
That if they can find the right frequency, they can communicate with this thing.
Right.
I guess they say something like that.
Yeah.
And then that becomes him sort of making a thing that destroys them?
Yeah, if he found the right frequency, I guess if he just amplified... He made an analogy to something. He said it was similar to...
well, they said like a electric shock.
Yes, like an
machine,
electric shock,
but just like
but much
more
louder.
powerful.
Yeah.
And I like because they do a thing where she hooks the machine up and he's like, put it on 50 whatever he says, and the machine blows up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, the machine can't handle it. But I guess that was showing how it was going to blow up if they hit that. That was the clue. Okay, this is going to blow up, and therefore they'll blow up.
Yeah, maybe.
You would think like the meteorite would have blown up, and then they would have been like, "Yes, okay, that'll how we do it." But it was the machine.
It was just the machine. The doctor just figured it out.
Well, there's a lot of things that I don't quite understand. Like they're building an octopus, but
wait, no, okay. So
like, who is?
So their idea was to come to Earth because they are just a consciousness with no bodies. So they need to find a place where they can make the perfect bodies. And what was the guy's name? Sorry, the guy that was...
they had like an affinity to plastics.
Yes, yeah.
Too. Like that was.
But the guy that was kind of taking over the plastics factory, what was his name?
All right, so there's Hibbert who runs the flag. That's the regular guy who's being mind control. Then Channing is the guy that's the creepy dude that's running with his eye movements.
Yeah.
He posed as a reporter at one point too, which is great. And there were so many great shots of him just like staring through glass and.
Oh, that was actually a really great shot. That was no point. It was really creepy.
Yes,
they come in. Brigadier comes in with Liz and the doctor into this plastic factory. They're going to go into the main office area, and the Brigadier turns around, and 1 foot behind him is a door with beveled glass with Hibbert standing behind it, staring at it. His nose is practically touching the glass, and he slowly backs away.
Yeah,
and you see
so
like
creepy.
The mirror reflection of him. It made no sense. And the Brigadier's just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, but then later the Brigadier's like, yeah, I recognize that guy because he posed as a reporter, and that's how I know he's bad. Not that he was looking like a weirdo creepo, like that should have been, whether or not you saw him doesn't matter. The guy's just like his face stuck with the glass. But anyway, you were going to say something specifically about him, right?
Well, so there's Channing's kind of running this whole thing, and he says something about how, they're trying to make bodies, but then the doctor's looking at this huge machine that's in this main office that has this like pulsating sort of brain looking thing. Although to me it looked like a pulsating plastic anus.
It did. That was in my notes.
Yeah, it's a plastic anus. But he says that he's making a body that's perfectly adapted to life on Earth. He says something like it. Channing says,
he does?
Yeah, that's what they're making is this thing that's perfectly suited to live on Earth to be able to conquer the planet. And that ends up being a giant squid monster?
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that line, but I did.
Yeah,
the Earth domination was the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
This creature was going to do it. But
I don't understand.
One thing I also didn't understand
sense.
was Channing. He was an Auton?
Yes. Well, there's the point that they're all
because he can
shared,
control them,
but they're all a shared consciousness.
Yes.
So there's not any individual. That he says that as well.
Okay. Right.
So the Autons are the same.
Are just
they're all
vehicles.
the same. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all run by the same.
Yeah.
Even though he seems to be in charge, he's like the master.
Right.
And you also get, they mentioned, there's 5 meteors or something that they're going after, but these things have been happening for a while, and I think he said like 500, right? Or he said some high number that have happened previously.
Because even Leftwich says that this has happened before.
Building. Yeah. There's also, we didn't mention the guy Ransom.
Oh, I was just looking at that. Yes, Ransom.
Yeah, he's just like, there's not much to say about him. He's just sort of the guy that uncovers...
Yeah, he was
in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He was a worker at the factory. He was off on business for a few months, trying to expand the business. He comes back and he's found out that he's fired. Everyone in the place has been fired, basically, in his lab and that area when this new Channing comes in. But so he sneaks in, comes with some barbed wire, gets in there, has an encounter with an Auton. The Auton actually does the hand thing that we see later in current Doctor Who, like Rory has. The hand drops down and there's a gun underneath it.
Yes.
It's kind of cool. So he freaks out, gets away. When they finally find Ransom, he comes running through the forest, happens to run into some unit soldiers and collapses. There's a great scene where he is just a gibbering mess, trying to explain what had happened, and they try to give him some water, and he just doesn't even hold it in his mouth, just dribbles all over his face.
Yeah, it's coming out of his mouth. But
it's a solid, like, 45 seconds of just a tight shot on his face, just freaking out. And it was delightful. It was really
there
great.
are really cool transitions and shots like that, like extreme close-ups. Like, at one point, they mention something like, about the Autons, and they do like a hard cut to a very close-up of a doll's face.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And then it pulls back super fast. So it's like this, within 2 seconds they back out, and then you're talking to Hibbert. There's lots of really
those moments, like in the doll factory where they're assembling the dolls. It's just this shot for 30 seconds of them manufacturing these baby dolls.
Yes,
but it's super creepy and industrial. Like, this is not. It's like horrifying machine.
I was watching that, and my wife just caught that scene. She's like, "What is wrong with you? Like, what are you watching?" It's just like, "Oh, it's Doctor Who."
It's the scariest episode of how it's
made.
Yeah,
definitely. But we didn't talk about one of my favorite bits. Was the wheelchair chase.
Oh god!
So like all the way back, I think it's it's
in the first episode, I think.
Yeah, so it's in the first episode. So the Doctor is crash lands, doesn't really know who he is.
Yeah.
The unit takes him. They can't understand him. He's not making sense biologically.
Yep.
The
introduction of the 2 hearts. This is where we first see that he has 2 hearts.
Yeah. Yep, you find out he has 2 hearts and that he's clearly alien, and he escapes by way of wheelchair, and he also has his mouth taped up. So there's a whole chase scene of him rolling as fast as he can, and he gets shot too.
Yeah.
So that was like a good cliffhanger. The Doctor literally gets shot. But there's also another thing, and I know I'm jumping around and saying dumb things, but in episode 3, for no reason, there's a barking dog. And dog is in quotes because it's a guy, I think, making a dog barking sound. It's like the old codger who lives in the woods, like his wife, I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
She's like trying to go in, and I think at that point she has possession of that meteorite.
Yeah.
And you just hear like a dog barking inside, but it sounds just, I gotta listen to it again. And I'll put it on this episode. It sounds totally like the rough. And it's like, you didn't really need the dog there, but they're just having fun. Man, it's such a good episode.
So, the other thing that was just kind of crazy weird to me is at the end, so everything kind of wraps up, they destroy all the Autons, they all melt into horrible plastic, and it's at the very end, it's left with Stewart, the Doctor, and Liz sitting in the lab, and the Doctor's kind of dictating terms. He's going to stay and work with the unit as long as the unit gives him a lab to work in, materials so he can try to fix the TARDIS, and a cool car. But they're standing around there, and what are they doing? The most British thing in the world. They're all drinking tea. After all of them almost nearly dying, even Stewart they're all just drinking tea.
Yeah. And I also, speaking of British, I love that everybody calls each other mom or dad. But it's not creepy.
Yeah,
like if I do that, if I start calling people dad that aren't my dad, I'm the weirdo, But here it's totally fine.
Normal. It's fine.
Although there is a difference if you call somebody dad versus daddy. Like, that's also a whole level. You start calling people daddy.
There's different levels of creepy. Totally.
A couple other things. So, talking about that scene. Mm-hmm. So, like, the very end of this really sets up this Doctor, Pertwee. So, there's no TARDIS. You don't even go in the TARDIS.
Oh, by the way, the TARDIS is also different. Did you notice the sign on the front?
It's a different design.
Well, also the sign itself, they switched the lettering. Yes. It was blue with white text instead of white background with black text.
And I'm wondering, like, within that previous episode, does it get destroyed or remodeled in some way? Because, like, you can look it up and you can see the different Doctors and when they changed the TARDIS, so it's gone through a lot of changes.
And I'm used to the interior changing. The interior always changes with each Doctor, at least in the current show, but the outside never really...
Yeah, the exterior does too.
Okay.
And there's like 4 or 5. And we don't have anywhere to post the GIFs, but I can. Like, our logo, we have a square Tom Baker TARDIS.
We have a website, thedoctorwhoshow.com.
Yes, the old Doctor Who show. You can look at our logo. But either way, you don't even go in. So the TARDIS is completely, made useless. I mean, he tries to use it. It can't work. The dematerializer or something, as you said,
he doesn't have the codes for the dematerialization.
So you find out this Doctor is stuck on Earth. He's not leaving anywhere. Yep. He's much more like an action star. Mm-hmm. He's got the cool car, and he's, sort of more of like James Bond type.
Yeah.
dude than he has been previously.
Yeah, a slightly paunchy, late 50s James Bond.
Yeah.
Right. With Liberace hair.
He demands that Liz is going to be his companion.
Yeah.
And he asks for her, and they're going to work.
Well,
with
actually,
and
he demands Liz. She has no say.
Right? Yeah, she's just like there. She's like, okay, I guess so. In that sense, yeah, I guess it's a little strange. But are you like, how do you feel about that? Because it's like. It's no longer a time and space traveling guy. It's much more like
Monster of the Week.
Yeah, like here he is going to solve whatever these problems are.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my favorite Doctor Who episodes are either future or technology ones, or even the horror ones. I like those too. I never really like the historical setting ones, like really at all. So I don't know how I feel about one that's going to be completely. For them, present day, the whole way through with just, Monster of the Week sort of stuff. It's interesting. Did they do it for Pertwee's entire run or just for season 7?
I know for a lot of them they do. I'm trying to think, like, let me, because I haven't seen all Pertwee's one. I think for the most part he is stuck on Earth. Like Carnival of Monsters, though, he does, I think, eventually fix it. At some point. But I think at least for this season...
Well, we'll see.
He is stuck on Earth. Yeah, we don't know what we're talking about.
No, we're doing this podcast, so we have a reason to watch these episodes.
I can't say one way or the other.
The next episode we're going to be watching and reviewing is the subsequent episodes of this, so maybe I'll have a better sense of, is this something I would like if I was watching it in real time when it was airing?
Yeah, and you better like the Autons, too, because we do Terror of the Autons after... the next one, so we go right back to Autons again. I had another thing for you. Oh, in general, what do you think?
I like him a lot. I think he's a funny actor. I think what helps too is, like you said, the film style is different. It feels less like first Doctor, that whole era felt very much like a stage show. That just happened to be filmed. That kind of transitioned a bit with the second Doctor, and now this feels less like a stage and more like a film. It looks more like a movie. So it has that kind of pacing, editing, and just overall aesthetic, which I really like a lot. He plays into that really well. He just has this kind of like sort of action-y sort of feel, but definitely really good comic timing, which I think is super important in all the Doctors. Yes. So yeah, I think he's great so far.
He's great. Like I had mentioned on our very first episode, like Tom Baker was how I got into Doctor Who when I was younger.
Yep.
But that was all I'd ever seen. Like I'd never seen anyone else.
Yep.
The only experience I had was Tom Baker. So when the show started again, I started to go back and watch some of the old Tom Baker ones, and I tried new ones. And when I watched, this was the first non-Tom Baker one I saw, and I just loved him, and I ended up going out and buying Terror of the Autons and the Green Death, and
Yeah,
I immediately took to him. I think he's a great Doctor.
Yeah, I think so too. But we'll see as we watch more of them.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm interested to see. Oh, and if you're following along with us, I mentioned to Dan you have to really pack a lunch for the next one because it's long. The next one we're doing, the Solarians or Doctor Who and the Solarians. Is what I say was 7 episodes?
I think he said it was 7 episodes.
Yeah, so it's going to be a long haul.
Doctor Who and the Solarians.
It's going to be fun. And I know this one is also supposed to be pretty good, the Solarians.
Yeah.
This is their first appearance, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to hit some of the highlights first before we go back and do some of the kind of fill in the gaps, and this is definitely a highly rated or highly regarded one. So. Yeah,
so we're scheduled for that one for April 12th, so if you are going to watch it with us, then what are you doing? You better start watching it now.
It's a long ass one. You gotta get in there.
Yeah, creeps.
All right. Well, what did you think? What's your overall feeling?
Oh, I love it.
Of this episode. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, the ending with the octopus is a little terrible.
It's actually super bad.
And there are lots of terrible things like that with Pertwee episodes.
Yeah.
There's one, I believe, where he's attacked by a phone cord.
I've seen that. Yes, I've seen. Yeah. I don't know why I've seen that, but I've seen that. Yep.
So that sort of takes. I don't know. It's fine. I mean, it's a little goofy for an episode that is super strong. So that part I felt like was a little off.
Right. I mean, I like the campiness of Doctor Who. I think that's one of the charms of it, that you have to you either love it or you don't, and you have to be on board with it or you're just going to hate it. But because the rest of the episode was so different and so strong, it stood out horribly.
Yes,
he's clearly holding this thing onto his face, and it was pretty horrible.
And the pacing too, I think, in the last episode feels like within the last 10 minutes, all of a sudden they wrap everything, like everything just totally ends.
Yeah.
But again, overall, I think it's such a great balance of humor and horror too, and it works really well.
Yeah, great.
So I give this a big thumbs up. If you haven't seen it, why have you listened to a podcast?
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It's kind of weird. That's probably where I would look for your first problem.
Solve
that one, and then worry about Doctor.
I mean, unless you really, really just like listening to us, which I get. I mean, I get that, but.
All right, so I think that's it, right? Do you have anything else for Spearhead from Space?
Nope. Great episode. Glad everyone watched it with us.
All right, friends. As I said, 412 Solarians. Go to iTunes or you go to theolddoctorwhoshow.com and subscribe to the podcast. Review it if you feel like it. There's no pressure here. But come on. What else you got to do? You can find me on Twitter at eGrissom.
You can find me on Twitter at DanJNJ. Drop by the website and
you can find pictures of yourself sleeping in my secret box in my house.
It's not secret anymore. Shoot.
Crap.
Anyway, all right.
All right, good stuff. However, a great 3 weeks, everyone. We'll see you on the 12th of April.
Goodbye.
Bye. I love these guys. Girls.
All of them. They're great.
Oh, be quiet, Barry.
That's worth having. Yes, I would. Buy you your life, sir, if it would. I want you. Autonomy.
Where's my robot, you know?